So I just got done watching Eden Zero episode 3 and I'm really excited. This was a really good episode. It kind of lays the foundation for for where the rest of the series is going to go. What I mean by that, what we end up like finding out what their end goal is going to be. Of course, that was kind of alluded to in episodes 1 and 2, but in this one we know that like the end goal is like, okay, like Shiki and Rebecca and Happy are going to go meet Mother. So it picks up from like the last episode where Happy got catnapped, and we found out the whole story with like Happy and Rebecca. Like they used to be really close when they were growing up because Rebecca was an orphan. She doesn't know where she's from either. Really similar to Shiki. And we find out that, of course, that Happy got rebuilt. We find out in this episode by who? By Professor Weiss, it looks like. So it starts off a little bit after that about them going back to the guild. I really like how like each the protagonist here, like Shiki's like super afraid of insects, and he always thinks the way he thinks he's gonna be around him. JC staff honestly is knocking out of the park with this. Like you can tell they had a lot of fun making this show. Like you can really tell. I'm a firm believer. Like you can tell when the creators of something like have a lot of fun making it. You can tell a lot that if most of the animators here and the director weren't a fan of Fairy Tail, that they at least have a lot of fun making this. It comes across that way. The part where like Shiki's like in the bath with like the big beetle and he thinks he's gonna have to be around him, but this is like Shiki's like kind of like thing that he's always afraid of. Kind of how not like with Natsu. Remember, he was always afraid of his motion sickness and like moving vehicles. So they go back to the guild and they meet Clarice, who's like the guild receptionist, and she's just happy that Rebecca actually found someone to like go on her adventures with and actually found a friend, because it sounds like they've been kind of like being a little bit too relaxed. And then we also meet Labilia, who's basically Rebecca's rival. She's this super famous, like, of course, YouTuber. I thought her, like, it's like a perfect kind of like the Belle Delphine, like where she's like this super popular kind of well known like YouTube star. Obviously, it's a little bit different than Belle Delphine, but the point stands. Like she's charging like 50K like an autograph, and like she's just to be around her. It's like she charges you money. I think like Shiki goes up for like a handshake with her is like $10,000 or something crazy like that. And the best part, like a fan goes over to her and like she's like, "Oh my god, can I have an autograph?" She draws him a piece of shit. Like she draws a turd, and like the whole entire like guild's like, "Oh my gosh, she drew a picture just for me." I was like, this is kind of like modern simp culture, like with all like the e-girls and stuff on Twitch. It's just like this is kind of like that a little bit, but I thought that part was really funny. So she makes up that Rebecca upset, of course, because like she's like this super popular star, and like obviously, Rebecca obviously isn't that big yet, and everyone like apparently like, everyone knows like Labilia's would be like equivalent to like some like a YouTube wife, probably someone who had like at least like 10-15 million subscribers, if not, because everyone in the sector knew who she was. So she's obviously a pretty big deal in terms of like revenue wise, and like for the VCuber, like their version of YouTube. So Shiki, of course, gets upset with this and goes and kind of like pegs her down a little bit, and he like picks her up, and I love the facial animations too, because she's like freaked out, and of course like, "Oh no, don't worry about it." So of course this series is keeping back up with the references to Fairy Tail, and like it's Plu. Plu was the one I ever talked about in the last episode. So Heroes series before Fairy Tail was there's a character called Plu in it who's like the little snowman. They're in Fairy Tail. There's a character called Plu. It's the exact same thing in Fairy Tail. Rave Master is the series where like Plu's was Hiro Mashima's like first kind of series, and Fairy Tail was the second. But he like reuses characters. Like Plu is like one of Lucy's little spirits in Fairy Tail. And like it's really funny because like Happy's like freaked out by them, and Shiki's freaked out by him too. Like he looks at him like, "What are these things?" I just thought the end, like the voice acting and the facial animations are so good in this show so far. And like Happy's freaked out by him. He thinks they're dogs. And so there's a really great shot too, and I actually, it put a big smile on my face when I saw it. When you see the shot of Lucy and Natsu in the background, you kind of see them together, and they're like walking through. Ironically enough, like the conversation, if you notice this, it's actually kind of a big like, kind of wink and a nod. So with what Shiki talks about, like why he was excited about joining a guild. And then you see Lucy and Natsu in the background. I don't think this is just like, oh, it's not just a wink and a nod to Fairy Tail. It's showing that like guilds and stuff like that, like this guild, this is gonna be very different from Fairy Tail. Like what Shiki's describing, like, yo, like I just wanted a big place of friends. That's what Fairy Tail was. Like, if for anyone who watched it, of course, it's like this big welcoming place, and of course Shiki would have been welcomed with open arms there. But with these different types of space guilds in this series, like. No, obviously everyone is there to be a friend. It's kind of like you're just there, and it's kind of like their business transactions. Not too different from the fantasy version with Fairy Tail had, but with this one, like it's more like so to use connections, and you're all kind of all there. Not so much a similar goal. It's a little bit tight knit, is what Fairy Tail had, but the guilds in this in Eden Zero aren't really like that. And we come to the main foundation for where the plot's going to go from here. Like as Eden Zero is a series, Rebecca wants to make it big as a VTuber, a VCuber, like to meet Mother, and then Shiki wants to meet Mother so he can get a wish, and he wants to bring Michael and all of his robot friends back. So they talk about, okay, like we gotta like get a bigger ship, and of course we're gonna need some recruitment. Like Shiki gets it. Like Shiki kind of brings up like, oh, like we're gonna need a wizard or warrior, like kind of the D&D class type of thing. The World War going on an adventure type thing, like Dragon Age Origins for those of you who play. Like, okay, we're gonna need like a wizard, we're gonna need a warrior, like kind of like that. Because like if you think about it, Shiki's already kind of the muscle of the group with his ether, and Rebecca's kind of like a wild card because I guess she's got like her happy thing, but. So they're looking for like their version of like a wizard. So like the Professor Weiss would be like their version of a wizard because he can create things and do all types of like different fix-ups and create new things. So he's like the wizard. So that's what like Weiss is. So they're going to look after him because he's the one who fixed up Happy. So they're going to go fix up, they're looking to go get him because he can help them build a new ship, and he can also, they're looking for like people to add on for a group as well. They end up going to this planet where like recycles the soil. Like it rains down these massive just pillars, and they go up super high. And then we also see Elsie Crimson, aka Urza 2.0, go over to the guild with Clarice, and she's like, "Hey, where's Shiki at?" And he talks about that planet. And then they end up going to like Weiss's lab there, and Shiki puts on the magic shag goggles, and of course he sees Happy as a mech, and of course he sees Rebecca naked. Well, what a man! And then after he gets ticked off, like Weiss shows up, and I guess he's young. I don't really know what's going on here. So full disclosure, I didn't remember much because I stopped reading. I read Eden Zero as a manga when it first came out. This was the chapter that I stopped on, not because it was bad or anything like that, just because like I just forgot to read. I was just really busy, I guess. I don't remember why, but so this was the chapter I left on because I have no clue what happens after this. I do remember the crazy ending was like, oh yeah, like they found like two, like a man and a woman, and they're like in the soil 20,000 years later, which is a huge time like difference. And they find like Rebecca's little heart shaped like a little necklace, little VTuber thing that she wears. So I have no clue what's going to happen here. I don't know. It's already dealing heavily enough with sci-fi as it is right now. We're already getting a time skip jump. I'm really excited to see where it goes from here. Instead of just dropping like an episode 4 over the weekend, I'll probably catch up on 3 episodes, probably 3. And I'll do those as a kind of like a trifecta. I'll just drop the 3 episode reviews in one video. Probably won't be that long, but going over the main points because I'm really excited to see where it goes. I don't just since they're all kind of available right now, I'd rather them come out weekly, but that's not going to happen. Just with the way that Netflix works. So I'm gonna watch the next 3, and then I'll drop one of those probably on Monday. I'll drop that review. But so far, honestly, I really love it. The series is really good. Honestly really good. It has that early fairy tale kind of vibe to it, where it's like it's great world building. Hiro does a good job at world building, and he does a good job at making interesting characters. I really enjoy it so far, and I'm pretty excited to see what ends up happening with it, because I don't remember this part like after the manga. I remember like those two people from the future find them, and they're like, "What is this?" Like, they don't know what the hell. Like, these people are like 20,000 years old, which talk about like a crazy find if you think about it. You're just traveling to a random planet, and then you just find these two. So I'm curious, like, if it introduces like time travel or something here, which I think it's a little bit early to introduce something that big. I feel like that's like a major thing, but honestly, I really love it so far. Honest to God, I'm really enjoying this series so far, and it reminds me of a fairy tale, and like I actually genuinely look forward to actually watching it every time. So that's why this weekend I want to probably like watch like 3, and I'll upload the next one and what I think of those. What did you guys think? Did you guys catch the Lucy and the Natsu bit? Honestly, that brought a pretty big smile to my face, as I'm sure did anyone who watched Fairy Tail before. And of course, Plu. I thought the whole part about him like freaking out happy was really good too. That's all I got for this one, guys. Let me know what you thought of this episode in the comments below, and I will see you guys in the next one. All right.